Under the control of its supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, a close authoritarian state, has become one of the most troublesome countries in the world, particularly since acquiring nuclear weapons. The military regime's governance, both domestically and internationally, has become more entrenched. Despite the difficulty of directly challenging its rule, the international community has never forgotten to comment on Kim Jong-un. For over a decade, economic sanctions have made North Korea one of the worst performing economies globally. Yet this seems to follow a predictable narrative, akin to the tale of the North Wind and the Sun. The more the outside world sanctions North Korea, the more actively it develops military power. Since the United Nations Security Council imposed comprehensive economic sanctions on North Korea 16 years ago, why does it seem that impoverished North Korea still has the muscle to develop military capabilities? What is the actual economic strength of that country? Before delving into these questions, let's review the sanctions imposed on North Korea by the international community in recent years. Back in 2006, when North Korea conducted its first nuclear test, the United Nations established a committee to sanction North Korea to halt its nuclear research. As part of the initial sanctions, the UN demanded a cessation of exports of certain military items and luxury goods to North Korea, but this did not deter North Korea's ambitions. During subsequent nuclear tests in 2009, 2013, and 2016, the UN gradually intensified sanctions, including a comprehensive arms embargo, while also empowering member states to seize and destroy North Korean military-related items. In the financial realm, North Korea was expelled from the international financial aid system, leading directly to a currency circulation crisis. Concurrently, the international community severed ties with North Korea's major export industries, such as coal and iron mines. This series of sanctions has caused North Korea to lose about $1 billion in foreign exchange income annually, with annual export profits plummeting by a third. In addition to UN sanctions, the United States, Japan, South Korea, and the European Union, and other economic entities have imposed their own sanctions, including banning bilateral trade, freezing North Korean assets overseas, and restricting investment, significantly impacting North Korea's economic activities. However, North Korea's military regime hasn't backed down. Instead, it sees all weapons of mass destruction as a means for survival. The harsher the international community's sanctions, the more convinced the military regime becomes that only military power will ensure its survival. Although North Korea's economy appears to be in shambles currently, it hasn't always been at the mercy of other countries since its communist transformation. North Korea once enjoyed moments of prosperity, even being considered one of Asia's two major industrial nations alongside Japan in the mid-1970s. However, this achievement was mainly due to economic assistance from the then Soviet-led economic bloc. But by the late 1980s, with the collapse of the Soviet system and the cessation of resource demand, coupled with a series of misfortunes, North Korea's economy not only failed to improve, but also faced a series of sanctions in the 21st century. As a result, this communist country on the Korean peninsula has suffered extensive economic and humanitarian devastation. According to UNICEF statistics, as many as a quarter of North Korea's population, equivalent to 6 million people, are in a state of starvation, with nearly 1 million children under the age of 5 affected. Data shows that due to poor overall economic performance, underdeveloped living conditions, and climate issues, North Korea is prone to food crisis. Although it's a communist state, life inside North Korea is not characterized by equal prosperity for all. In fact, there's a huge wealth gap in North Korea. In the capital, Pyongyang, many wealthy elites can indulge in luxury spending as they wish. However, outside the capital, most people struggle to make ends meet, with meals mainly consisting of grains and vegetables, with little to no seafood or meat in sight. According to a report released by Bank of South Korea, under the triple impact of sustained UN sanctions, adverse weather, and a lockdown due to pandemic, North Korea's economy contracted by as much as 4.5% in 2020. At that time, the GDP was only 31.4 trillion Korean won, and the per capita income was a mere 1.4 million Korean won. The Bank of South Korea itself considers this report to be a conservative estimate. Many experts believe that North Korea's actual situation is even worse than the above figures suggest. Faced with external sanctions, North Korean authorities have tried to demonstrate the competitiveness of the domestic economy at the National Congress in 2016, ordering a 5-year national economic development plan in hopes of stimulating economic growth. However, by 2021, 5 years later, US admitted that this plan had completely failed, with almost none of its initial goals achieved, and the North Korean people still living in dire conditions. Despite abysmal economic performance, North Korea's treasury seemed to have an inexhaustible amount of money, capable of sustaining expensive military development continuously. The The reason behind this likely lies with China, its largest trading partner. For years, while other countries adhered to agreements for economic sanctions, China remained North Korea's largest trading partner, with over 3/4 of its goods being sold to China nationwide. As a promised friendly country, China also provides crucial food and energy assistance, keeping North Korea afloat. North Korea's second major source of funds is the export of labor. As one of the most closed economies globally, North Korean authorities exploit their impoverished citizens in various ways to earn money. Thousands of North Korean laborers are forcibly sent to China, Russia, the Middle East, and elsewhere to work in labor-intensive industries such as mining, forestry, and construction, with a portion of their hard-earned income handed over to the government as loyal payments. Their labor not only brings income to North Korean authorities, but also earns them stronger currencies such as US dollars, euros, and Chinese yuan. For North Korea, these foreign currencies are more valuable in weapons and materials market than their own currency. Often, these funds are quickly funneled into nuclear and advanced weapon development, solidifying Kim Dynasty's grip on power. North Korea's third largest source of funds is hacking attacks, especially targeting cryptocurrency exchanges. According to a confidential UN report, North Korea continued to conduct large-scale cyber attacks on financial institutions, cryptocurrency companies, and exchanges to illicitly earn funds. The report shows that hackers with links to North Korea have frequently attacked at least 3 cryptocurrency exchanges in North America, Europe, and Asia over the past 2 years, earning over $15 million, with Ethereum being the most common target. A previously exposed judicial report further indicates that an Ethereum researcher began assisting in the development of cryptocurrency infrastructure in North Korea as early as 2018. This action involves country's government using blockchain technology to evade US economic sanctions and accumulate funds for its nuclear weapons program and other illegal activities. According to the largest report from blockchain analysis platforms, we can see that North Korea launched at least 7 attacks on global currency platforms in 2021, resulting in profits worth nearly $400 million. Reports from the United Nations Sanctions Monitoring Agency also indicate that in recent years, North Korea has generated approximately $2 billion in revenue using extensive and increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks, which have been used for extensive military and defensive expenditures. Information reveals that there is not just one North Korean government-affiliated hacking group, with the largest being Lazarus Group, affiliated with the Reconnaissance General Bureau's 110th Research Center, also known as the Website Center. The Lazarus Group has committed numerous crimes, including the 2014 Sony Pictures incident and the global ransomware outbreak in May 2017. While stealing cryptocurrency is not difficult, the challenge lies in laundering large amounts of illegally acquired assets. However, for North Korean hacker organizations supported by the state, this process is as simple as breathing. The Cybercrime Division of the IRS in the United States has extensively studied North Korea's money laundering process and found that the Lazarus Group is adept at using thousands of dummy accounts and a series of small-scale and complex transactions to evade tracking and achieve their money laundering goals. This indicates that the North Korean government systematically invests significant resources in training hackers and uses the stolen funds to invest in military research and development. Although North Korea faces extensive sanctions from most countries worldwide, it is not entirely isolated internationally. With support from the former Soviet Union and most recently China, North Korea can maintain a minimum standard of income on the surface. Additionally, North Korea channels its national resources into being a super thief. For major corporations, this presents an unstoppable situation since they are up against the nation, one that is widely sanctioned by international community. In such circumstances, there's little room for negotiation or recourse. If you're interested in this topic, feel free to leave your comments below. Until next time, goodbye.